Melcher here with your lesson 3 from chapter 20 out of your iScience book. We're talking about eclipses and tides today, and this has to do some more with your moon that you're learning in chapter 20, the sun, earth, and moon system. So let's get right to it. An eclipse is when the moon or the earth is being covered. So you will not be able to see a shadow all the way because either the moon is in the way from the sun or the earth is in the way from the sun. And the shadows are known as the umbra and the penumbra. You should be taking notes while I am talking, so go ahead and get out your notebook. I'm going to draw a picture so I can show you what the penumbra and the umbra look like, and you can be following along and taking these notes while I do it. The umbra is the part of the shadow where the light is completely blocked, and the penumbra is a shadow where it's partially blocked. I'm going to draw a picture, and while I'm drawing and talking, you can be writing and also drawing. Here we have the sun. And the sun, it shines its light in all directions. Here's my little arrows that symbolize that the sun is shining in all directions. Now we have our earth, which I'll do in blue. The earth is over here, nice and big, and then we've got our little moon. I'll make the moon darker so that you can see it from farther away. Okay, now let's talk about the difference between the umbra and the penumbra. The umbra is the area where one body is completely covered by the other. So if we have sun coming, and the sun is shining, and it's shining here, the sun is shining, it's shining here, but then it's also coming from here and shining, you can see that the moon is completely covered by the Earth's shadow. So when it's completely covered, you won't be able to see that. You'll see a full moon here, and the Earth's shadow. So this is called the umbra. The moon is covered by the Earth. Umbra, completely covered. Okay, if the moon was to move so that it's over here and it's partially covered, now this part would be covered from the moon, from the sun rather. This section here is in the umbra, but this section is out of it, and that's called the penumbra. The penumbra is not completely covered in shadow. And I always remember that because penumbra starts with a P, and the word partial starts with a P. So the penumbra is a partial covering of one body from the sun. All right, let's continue on with the next. Solar eclipses happen when the moon is between Earth and the sun, and the moon will cast a shadow on Earth. Then we have what are called, sorry about that, we've got total solar eclipses where all of the sun is blocked by the moon. In this picture, you're not seeing a solar eclipse because the solar eclipse happens when our moon is in between the Earth and the sun. If you're talking a total solar eclipse, you cannot see the sun at all because the moon is in front of it. This is very dangerous to look at with your eyes, and it's recommended to have a filter when looking at this. This is not very common, doesn't happen very often, especially in our solar system, because the Earth and the moon are traveling at angles to each other. The Earth has a 23.5 degree tilt, as opposed to actually some other planets in our solar system where this happens quite frequently. Twice a day there will be an eclipse. But our Earth, where we're turned, our planet, does not have eclipses very often. A partial solar eclipse is only part of the sun is obscured. So remember that when you're looking at this, the moon is in front of the sun. That means you're basically looking straight at the sun to see when it gets covered up a little bit. It's a lot safer to look at lunar eclipses, which we'll talk about in a little bit, because they happen at night more often, and you can see them better at night. They also do happen in the daytime too, but they're very easy to see at night and they won't harm your eyes. Like I said before, solar eclipses do not happen every month because our moon is not directly lined up with the Earth. Unlike if you were on other planets where there's no rotated degree axis for it to turn at. They would happen quite often. Okay, feel free to have Miss B pause this video at any point so that you can catch up if needed. Lunar eclipses is when the Earth is between the sun and the moon. So that's the first picture that I had up here. A lunar eclipse is over here. That means that the sun will not be able to reach the moon because it's being blocked by the Earth. So again here there's total and then there's partial too. The total lunar eclipse, the moon is in front of the Earth's umbra, which is the Earth's shadow. It's completely covered by the Earth's shadow. You can't see it really at all. And a partial lunar eclipse is when you can see a part of the moon moving into the Earth's umbra. When you're having a total lunar eclipse, you'll see partial lunar eclipses too, because it is a partial lunar eclipse as it moves totally into the Earth's umbra. There is a lunar eclipse happening in a month or a couple months, but it's not going to be visible from our latitude. Why don't lunar eclipses happen every month? Well, like I said before, the tilt is not in line with the Earth's umbra or penumbra. So because of the tilt of our Earth, we will not be able to see eclipses that often. Okay, now let's move on and talk a little bit about tides. Tides like ocean tides, and even on really large lakes like Lake Superior and Lake Michigan, you get tides because the body of water is so large. A tide is the rise and fall of sea level, and that is from the moon. The moon causes what's called a bulge on the oceans, and sorry about that apostrophe there. But the sun also affects the bulge on the Earth and on the tides. Here we have our Earth. Maybe if I make it a little bit bigger over here, it'd be easier to see. We have our Earth, and what happens when the Earth is rotating around the sun, it gets closer and farther away, and the water, because of both the sun and the moon, but really it's more also because of the moon, the water does this bulging thing where it kind of rises towards the moon and then it goes back away from the moon. And that creates the tides back and forth. The tide, high tide every day, low tide every day. Spring tides are what it's called when the water is much higher and it's bulgier, if that's a word, than normal. And I always think of it as the tide is springing towards the moon. It's much larger, it springs up higher. And then we have neap tides, which are the opposite of spring tides, and that's when the sun, earth, and moon are at right angles to each other. Okay, you're probably wondering, what are we talking about? If we have the sun, the earth, and the moon lined up, there is an extreme of a gravitational effect on the tides. So the tides are going to end up, pretend that this part is my water, it's going to like spring towards those areas. And then when the earth is, and the moon is rotating around the earth, it'll end up over here. And because this is at a 90-degree angle, the water will not be as high, it'll be higher over onto this side instead of springing towards the sun, and that's called a neap tide. It's much less extreme. Okay, so that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. If you're confused, there's a lot of great pictures in your book, so refer to that. And then write down any questions you have and you can ask me tomorrow. All right, thanks.